Renault's last Megane got itself a record on the ring for being the fastest front driver. Admittedly, the car that took the time was a stripped-out turbo mega nutter bastard car, but it was, for a time, the fastest front-wheel drive car out there. Until Honda took the record, then VW took it, and then Honda took it again, with a frankly silly 7 minutes 43.8. Then this Megane not only has to beat that record, but also it faces fierce competition. The Focus RS, Audi RS3, the A45 AMG, and because they have silly power, they need all-wheel drive systems to keep their ludicrous grunt in check. It adds grip, but also weight. But Renault's not bothered with any of this lots of power, lots of weight, all-wheel drive nonsense, instead sticking to what it does best, front-wheel drive. Yeah, it may be over 100 horsepower down on an Audi RS3, but its 276 brake horsepower and 288 pound-foot still mean it's good for 0 to 62 in 5.8 seconds, and if you get a manual, it'll do 158 miles an hour, 155 with the 6-speed automatic. So it's not slow, which is a good thing, because it has a Nürburgring record to take. The engine is now a 1.8-litre turbocharged 4-pot with a twin-scroll turbo, the same motor, give or take a few bits, that you get in the new Alpine A110. It's very good in there. You can have two types of chassis, Sport for normal day-to-day road stuff, or Cup for people who don't like their spines but like telling people how quickly they can go round corners. Horses for courses. On the outside there aren't too many clues. This is actually quite a racy car. Okay, you've got a bit of a snout on it with its special honeycomb grille. There's pressure relieving vents down the side. There's a big splitter at the back and a centrally mounted exhaust and a slightly wider front and rear track. Oh, and quite large special alloys. On the inside there are a few Renault Sport badges and RS badges, and that's really about it. But here's the thing. A special track mode and all-wheel steer mark this out as something pretty special. This isn't even the Megane RS's final form. There is, of course, the hardcore trophy on the way, with 20 more horses and an even stiffer chassis. That'll likely be the car to beast Honda on the ring, and it'll likely be bought by people who previously bought the fastest thing out there, but want to say they've got the even fastest thing out there. But this is the one for the normal people, the Sport. And it's actually quite telling that Renault's offering both a manual and an automatic gearbox. Of course, us Brits are only really going to go for the manual because we're hardcore. We'll probably go all manual, all Cup. I was a little bit worried about the automatic gearbox because I tried it in the Clio Trophy and it was truly dreadful in that. They improved it later on as a Clio 220 Trophy, but it was still pretty naff. For a car like this, you need it to be engaging, you need it to be exciting. And the good thing is, the 6-speed auto in the Megane RS is not bad at all. It does have one tiny little issue with it. It's the same thing the Clio RS suffered with. The paddles are really far recessed behind the steering wheel. You've either got to be very precise with your fingernail or reach round really far. And it is just a little bit silly just to do that. And when you're turning, the last thing you want to do to change up or down is to have to then fiddle with yourself, for want of a better phrase. It's a little bit inconvenient. That said, if you leave it just to do its own thing, say round town, it's delightful. Set it to race and it becomes angry and snarling and, well, brilliant. It also does a pretty cool preload thing, so when you change down a gear going into a corner, it will decide what gear is best for your exit speed. So say you go in fourth and then you hold down the paddle and it goes, well, actually, speed you're going, you're best off with second, and off you go in second. That's clever. It's also got some pretty trick dampers, which are essentially dampers within dampers. It's a bit like damperception. The idea there is that it softens everything, but also keeps the car nice and rigid so you can go round corners faster without being uncomfortable. That is clever. That's thinking about making the car go fast, but not realigning your spine. It's nowhere near as harsh as, say, a Hyundai i30N, one of the least comfortable cars you can buy today, I think. Renault was at great pains to explain that the Megane R.S doesn't use any artificial noise synthesizers or echo chambers or anything like that. It just wanted to make a car that sounded great. So at low speed you get a little burble. At high speed it's not intrusive, it's not buzzing, it won't do your head in, but it still sounds really fun. And in this one, in the automatic, when you change up, it makes a little fart noise. Just a little fart, I'm usually quite down on infotainment systems that are homegrown, and Renault's one actually seems to be okay. It's not an Audi system, it's not a BMW system, but it's pretty decent. What the RS does have though is the RS monitor. There's loads of screens with torque curves and power curves, and it's all very exciting and very nerdy. It shows you which way the wheels are pointing as well, front and rear. The 4Control all-wheel steer is truly stellar. It's a first for its class, normally only found on stuff like Porsche 911 GT3 RSs. At low speeds, the rear wheels will point in the opposite direction of the front, and at high speeds they'll point in the same direction for greater manoeuvrability. You don't think you'd be able to feel a system like that, but oh man, you really, really can. Going round a corner in the sport car at least, you feel the front begin to drag, begin to, well, pull itself around, and then the all-wheel steer kicks in and you just glide around the bends, which means you can go pretty chuffing quickly if you put your mind to it. Faster than you'd expect to be able to in a front-drive car. Now on the Cup car, with its stiffer springs and its amazing differential, if you're going around a circuit, keep it balanced, keep it sensible, and it just glides. It's a truly phenomenal car. The braking system, well, we got massive Brembos on it. The pedal can be a little bit firm, but it does give you quite a great degree of control with it, especially on circuit. There's also a lap timery thing and a way to hook up a camera like a GoPro or your phone, and it'll do a telemetry overlay on it and show you and your friends just how fast you went round a circuit. You can upload it to social media. Renault's very keen for drivers to do that, or you can upload it to a special website and compare lap times with all the other Megane R.S owners. How much do you really not want to meet anyone who does that? The last generation Renault Sport Megane was a brilliant motor. This one, well, it's set to continue that. It's a truly awesome bit of kit. Yeah, it's not as visually stimulating as, say, some of the other hot hatches it's competing against. It's more subtle, more of a Q car, though maybe not in this bright orange paint. But it's confidence-inspiring and it's chuffing quick. I would be immensely surprised if the trophy version of this doesn't take a ring record, but even in its standard 280 horsepower, guys, it's just fantastic.